In part one, I left off with this. Humans are not truth seeking machines. We are comfort creatures, drawn to the familiar, the sensational, and the satisfying. To say that truth will inevitably rise to the top is like saying that 5 year olds will inevitably love broccoli because it's healthy. What makes you think that the most overweight and obese populations in history, populations that often make poor dieting decisions, will somehow make up a majority and choose truth at the buffet of junk food and conspiracies? Furthermore, the people running the cafeteria keep refilling the most popular trays. The most addictive and tasty junk is plentiful, while the steamed vegetables at the end eventually get cold and quietly taken off the menu. In an environment of bad food, I actually sympathize with RFK and his vision to address the industrial food and diabetes complex that plays such a big role in obesity rates, but I can't abide by his desire to reignite big polio and big measles. Parents and teachers already acknowledge the phenomenon of environments. That's why they work so hard to get environments right. Why do we have school lunch programs that give kids cauliflower, carrots, and celery sticks? Why are classrooms filled with helpful posters, charts, and routines? Why does VeggieTales exist? Elon Musk would understand this too if he had actually helped raise any of his children, but great parents and teachers know their environments well and try to craft them accordingly to give kids the best chances to realize their potentially great and awesome futures. It's not about banning junk food and censoring speech. It's about incentivizing healthier habits and being careful and cautionary about unhealthy ones. So, how do we redesign the cafeteria? The first question that arises for me when I think about this is, how do you boost credible sources and downrank sensationalism? Who decides what is credible is a valid concern. Probably a team with diverse perspectives and independent panels, um, that's not operating under any specific branch of government. What matters most is that their decisions are transparent and not bought and paid for. These voices and experts should be public and accountable with proven track records. And the awesome thing is we already have organizations that do things like this, like factcheck.org and NewsGuard. These organizations list their employees in a very public manner on their websites. They should be integrated into our existing social media agencies and audited regularly by other independent groups to maintain credibility. I appreciate existing efforts like Community Notes, which I just want to remind you is piloted by Jack Dorsey at Twitter. Don't let Elon steal credit for that. And YouTube's fact check panels underneath videos. And the correction section at the New York Times is another example of transparency that should be celebrated. But it's only a start. We can definitely do way more. Imagine simple measures like limits to sharing. Just are you sure screen before you share. Are you sure you'd like to share this headline without reading the article? Are you sure you'd like to contribute to the decline of society? You illiterate buffoon. Incentives matter. Advertisers should demand better for their products. They should prioritize platforms that incentivize credibility and discourse over merely engagement. Consumers should exercise their right to move to alternatives like Blue Sky, but they should also demand tools like customizable feeds and transparency, because let's face it, Twitter's not going away anytime soon. Creators who provide well researched, nuanced content should be rewarded with greater visibility and ad revenue shares, while those who spread misinformation without corrections and get flagged by systems like community notes should lose privileges, whether that's monetization, visibility, or being featured prominently. And that's something I will give Elon credit for. For certain tweets that have been flagged by community notes, those tweets are not eligible for monetization. And that's a great thing. Good job, Elon. It's not about silencing or banning. It's about accountability for bad behavior. Platforms and creators who follow these guidelines should be celebrated. Media outlets should write articles about them, and there should be award shows for excellence in constructive dialogues, and they should be invited for puff piece interviews to showcase their thoughtful approaches. Elevate these kinds of individuals as the new role models of our information ecosystem, those who embody nuance, accountability, and respect for truth, and contrast them with the current role models we have like Rogan or Tucker Carlson, who often thrive on controversy and sensationalism. I'm sure that there will be other novel solutions and innovations that I failed to address here that are going to emerge to address these issues. Perhaps there will be a mass exodus from Elon's Twitter as users and advertisers move to better alternatives. But my belief is to gain traction and appreciation for these solutions, we have to first agree and acknowledge the blight of our information sphere. We have to stop pretending that it's working for anyone on the left or the right. It's not. It's feeding us junk. How many Americans know the exact words Kamala Harris used when discussing transitioning surgery for inmates? Now, how many of those Americans know what the fuck a tariff is? The current system rewards the worst and loudest of us. I wouldn't want my friends or family dating or even befriending or even associating with any of the grifters, scam artists, and con men who thrive in this environment. We deserve better. Let's get some well-adjusted voices out there, people that recognize nuance, complexity, and the challenges of progress. The question isn't whether solutions exist. It's whether we're ready to embrace them. Please help me redesign the cafeteria. Thanks for listening, and good luck.